Okay, so now that you have Python installed, um, you have an text editor, Sublime, or you have an IDE, for example, PyCharm, we can start. We're going to start with a program called Hello World. Um, so let's say you're using PyCharm. Go ahead, create a new project, call it something. My first Python project. Create, open in current window, um, and then go ahead and create a new Python file. Call it something, my first Python code. Okay. Um, so what you're gonna do is to just type print hello world. So when you wanna print something in Python 2, it doesn't matter if you put parentheses or not, but in Python 3 you have to put parentheses. And then when you want to write something like a word and a string, a character or something, you have to put it in either double quote or quotes. So print hello world, right? Let's run this. Um, Run. Yes. Hello world. So this hello world thing is usually, or like traditionally, it's your very first code when you learn a new programming language. It's used to make sure that the language is correctly installed, and that your operating system understands how to use it. Its history goes back to 1972 or something, as an example, in this book called A Tutorial Introduction to the Language by Brian Carrington. So yeah, that's printing. So this tells us that, yeah, Python is installed correctly and everything is good to go. So you can print just anything you want. Run it. You see. Let's start with variables. So what are variables? Variables are just names that we define for spaces so that we can assign values to them. For example, a equals 2. All right, and then print a. 2, right? Um, you can say b equals to 2 multiply 3, and then print b. Now let's comment these out. So in Python, if you want to comment something, um, when you comment something, for example, this is a comment, right? It's just a note, so it doesn't do anything. So if I don't want to print these anymore, I just comment them out, right? So print b, now run. 6, right? So variables, they have to start with a letter. They can have numbers and underscores. So let's say Shaheen equals 100. Print Shaheen. And then, but you can't use the reserved words by Python, for example, for while, or other reserved words. You can assign numbers to variables. Oh, okay. So we have number of main data types in Python. We have numbers. We have strings. Strings are just a bunch of characters. So C is a character. C, G, F, H, D, S is a string. All right. So if you run this, see, we have lists. We have tuples. We have dictionaries, and we also have other data types, but these are the main data types. Um, so you can put all these data types in a variable. Um, One thing to keep in mind is that, for example, you say a equals 2, right? So a equals 2, print a, right? And then you say b equals to a. Now if you print b, um, b is 2 as well, right? But then if you change a equals 3. Now if you print b, it will be 2, but if you print a, it will be 3, right? So when you're assigning values to variables, you say, for example, so number 2, you have number 2, and then you assign a to number 2, or vice versa. You assign 2 to a. And then when you assign a to b, this is not like forcing b to always be a, right? This is just saying that put the value of a, which was 2, in b. And then when you change a, b is still the same, because this is the same as saying b equals 2. All right? Yeah, so keep that in mind. Um, yeah. So this was using IDE PyCharm. You can also use a text editor, for example, Sublime. Just open a new file and then be like print hello world, and then go ahead and save it. Desktop, my first Python code .py. Remember to put .py when you're using the text editor. And then you can go ahead in terminal, go to where you save the file. So my first Python code, and then be like Python, my first Python code, and then right there, it executed it, right? And yeah.